Heartbreaking news out of Florida. This is one of the most disgusting child abuse cases I have ever seen. These people above me are freaking sick. What these two, I don't even want to say humans, what these two freaking vile creatures did to this 3-year-old little boy who was on a ventilator is beyond the sickest thing. What makes this case just so, it's really hard to even listen. This 3-year-old little boy had an incident when he was a baby. He was in the water and somehow drowned. He had no brain activity. Like, they told the parents that they should take him off the ventilator because he was not going to come out of it. But the parents took the baby home on a ventilator and a feeding tube, and they freaking tortured this kid.
I'm about to release information to you that probably before I get halfway through this press conference, you will be thinking, why in the world is he saying these horrible things? Well, you need to know. You need to know in the real world, when people don't do what's right, really, really, really bad things happen. So we're going to tell you what this child experienced at the hands of their parents because the parents didn't do the right thing. Keisha Williams, who's 24, and Ephraim Allen Jr., who's 25. Here's when it all began. In July of 2020, when this beautiful baby boy was only 10 months old, he suffered a near-drowning experience at a short-term rental in the northeast area of the county. A near drowning. He toddled off into the pool. There was life-saving efforts to try to save this baby's life. When they got him to the hospital at the conclusion of all of their valiant efforts, the child had no brain activity, could not even blink his eyes, cannot move his extremities, and quite frankly, it was recommended to the parents that he be removed from any life-saving measures because the child would forever be in a coma with no brain activity. They didn't want to do that. So ultimately, these parents were sent home with their infant on a ventilator, a permanent ventilator, with a stomach tube, and health care. Home health care 3 times a week. Now that went on for over 2 years. As of last October, the parents began to reject the home health care. Despite the health care company's best efforts, they would not be home, would not answer the door. So the last time home health care dealt with this child was in October of last year. Understand, all of this was occurring at absolutely no cost to the parents. In fact, the mother was receiving benefits to stay home and take care of this baby. There's a 911 call to the city of Bartow, to the Azalea Apartments where they live, where the mother said, you know, the child's pulsometer is not working correctly. This is really not an emergency. You don't need red lights and sirens, but we'd like fire to come over and check the baby. So they responded to the house in a normal, routine fashion. And when they arrived, they saw this child hooked up to a ventilator. And this ventilator was working appropriately, but there appeared to be no life in the child. This child had an extremely extended stomach, and it was green. This child was rotting in the bed. They rushed this baby to the hospital, where for over an hour, or about an hour, between EMS, fire services, and medical personnel, they tried to save this baby's life. At the hospital, when they started taking off the diapers and the clothes, they noticed ulcers. large gaping wounds through the body down into the muscle. They noticed there was no rectum. There was just a big gaping hole where the intestines and the spinal column was visible. They notified the Bartow Police Department, who immediately said, "Hey, we need the sheriff's office to assist us. This is a very complex investigation." So our homicide team responded. We noticed immediately the child smelled of decomposition. We went back to the house where the child laid lifeless as it had for 2 years. The medical examiner at the autopsy said the child had sepsis, bilateral pneumonia, stage 5 ulcers, obvious child neglect. So we talked to the parents and we go, "What is going on here?" They said, well, they didn't want DCF to take their children, so they didn't call. But they had tried to get more home health care. So we introduced ourselves to the potential health care providers, and they said, we accepted them. We went there and wanted to see the child. They said, "Don't wake the child up today. This is just an introduction." And the next time they went, nobody answered the door. So obviously they were trying to create a facade or to say, well, we asked for help. They let this baby rot and die in its bed. I've done this for 5 decades. I have seen thousands of children abused, hundreds of children murdered at the hands of parents. I have never seen the horror that we saw with this poor child at the hands of these 2 folks. I talked to all the detectives in the room. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? No one has. You can't even imagine how horrible the wounds, the ulcers that this child endured at the hands of these folks. They're charged with aggravated manslaughter, among other charges, at this time. They were locked up in the county jail with a bond of $100,000. The other children appear to be in good health.
It is the worst case of child neglect that Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd says he has ever seen. Deputies say a child just under 3 years old was found on the brink of death at his home on May 12th. He was covered in infections and his organs were severely damaged, and sadly, he did not survive. Well, now his parents are behind bars facing serious charges, and Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is in the newsroom with the plea from Sheriff Judd. It's just even difficult to say those words, Evan.
Yeah, no kidding. This child's name is not being released, but we do know that he had a short and unhappy life. He was already on a ventilator because of a previous incident, and as Sheriff Judd puts it, it seems his parents just got tired of taking care of him. We do want you to know some of the details in this story are graphic and may be difficult to hear. The child's Bartow apartment was nothing short of shocking.
I have never seen the horror that we saw with this poor child.
It all began with a near drowning. 2 years ago, when the child was 10 months old, he fell into a pool and barely survived. His parents chose to keep him on a ventilator and stomach tube, with health aides helping to care for the child, who was in a permanent coma.
The child had no brain activity, could not even blink his eyes, cannot move his extremities.
In October, Sheriff Judd says they switched healthcare companies and began to stall on the new one. They ceased answering their door. On Friday, May 12th, Takesha Williams called 911 and said a piece of equipment wasn't working properly.
There appeared to be no life in the child. This child had an extremely extended stomach, and it was green. This child was rotting in the bed.
The child was rushed to the hospital but died. Sheriff Judd says the pair was afraid to call for help because she was worried DCF would take their other children away.
And this is only supposition on my part. They just got tired of the baby. They just got tired of the intensive care this child needed.
The child was so infected that he was decomposing while he was still alive, with organs visible outside his body.
My prayer would be that the child was in a deep enough state that he wasn't aware of what was happening to him. But I don't know that.
Though Williams denied there was any neglect, she and the boy's father, Ephraim Allen, are charged with child neglect with great bodily harm.
Ultimately, our goal is to send these folks to prison for just as long as we can send them to prison. And then from there, God's got to take over.
There were 2 other children in the home, both younger than the victim. They've both been removed, given that both parents are still in jail. But those children are said to be in good physical condition. While this is, of course, an extreme case, Linda, the sheriff says that any parents who have a child with particular needs and are feeling overwhelmed have many places to turn.
Aylan, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Come here,
sorry.
come here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're just gonna put handcuffs on just for now.
I'm sorry, just let me pull up my pants.
Where's the
I'm
knife?
sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I don't know what chest. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Please. I'm so sorry. Julie, you better pray to God. I am praying, Mom. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
Where's the knife?
I was upstairs in my room and I threw it out the window and it's behind the apartment right here.
You threw it where?
I threw it out my window upstairs.
Right
not
up here?
not right there. It's the room. It's the other room. It's right behind the apartment. This apartment right here.
So where would the knife be? On that side?
Right behind. Yeah. I'm so fucking sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This is some demonic shit. I'm so sorry.
What's your mom's name? What's your mom's name?
I gotta go with him. I'm so sorry. I don't know what the happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Come over here so we're out of the paramedics' way.
I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.
Hey, what's your name? Seat for me. Sit crisscross on the grass, okay?
Okay.
Just sit there for a second. You don't have the knife on you, right?
No, I swear I don't. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I don't. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Is there anybody else inside the house?
No, it's just me, my mom, and my brother. He's dying.
Hey, how would I get to the knife? Is there the back side?
I can show you.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I really didn't want things to happen like this. This sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm probably gonna go to jail. And I'm gonna live the rest of my life in prison.
That's it right there?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know what
Do me a favor. We're going to sit crisscross applesauce right here.
Okay.
Which one is it?
First apartment right here. Hey, can...
Is my brother in the hospital?
He's in the hospital right now, little lady. Yeah.
Will he live?
Pretty sure he will. There's the doctors. Doctors are all over there. Okay, we'll take care of him. Your mom's over there too.
I'm so sorry. Is he just never gonna forgive me?
It's okay. Take a breath.
I just wanna wake up from this nightmare.
Take deep breaths, you know.
I ruined my life. I ruined my whole future.
No, nobody's ruined life, okay? Alright?
It's all my fault.
It's fine. It's fine. It's nobody's fault, okay? watches you guys when your mom goes to work and all that?
It's just me.
Just you and your brother?
Yeah, I babysit because I have a 3-year-old brother. He just turned 3 in October, but he goes to his dad's every week. He goes to his dad's every weekend, but we got a day early today. So we just went to his dad's house, and I don't want to see him.
So he's at his dad's house, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
His name. I already know.
What was that?
I already know I'm gonna go to jail for the rest of my life.
You are not going to jail.
Yes, I am.
Nobody knows that, alright? Okay. You are not.
What I
Okay?
did was super illegal.
We are gonna get through with this, okay?
I'm just scared. Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
Huh?
Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
I don't know yet. Right now, we're just calling people. I don't know when. Possibility, yes. I don't know. I can't answer that for you, alright, Jen? But yes, I want you to go back to school.
I just want to say goodbye to a lot of people.
Say good. Where are you going?
Jail.
You?
It's up to someone that's bad.
Oh.
That's really bad.
Let's not think about that, okay? Let's not think about that. Just calm down, relax. A lot of things are going on right now, okay? A lot of things are going on right now, okay?
Okay. Are the handcuffs necessary? I'm a good child.
You're a good child, but that's just what we have to do, policy. Especially if you're sitting in my car, you know?
Gotta itch my eye.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know if my mom will want me to live there anymore.
Your mom loves you, okay? Your brother
They
loves
won't
you too.
trust me anymore.
What are you talking
They
about?
wouldn't be able to trust me anymore after what I did. They would probably be too scared to even let me back in the house.
That's okay.
I'm not saying that I will go to jail, but if I were to go to jail, how long would I be there for?
So it's kind of a difficult question. So first of all, you're too young to go to jail.
Juvie?
So juvenile detention and jail, two completely different things. Because you're 12, correct? So you got to be at least 13 to go to jail. But I have no idea if you do or don't, and how long you'd be there.
I'm gonna sit down with you if that's okay. Okay, so right now he's breathing. They're doing everything they can, but I was just talked to the doctor and she was saying it's all good things right now.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
So,
so both my kids tonight.
I know that this is a probably. I mean, I can.
12-year-old daughter. I don't understand why she would do something like that. She's 12.
I understand.
What the hell?
Hey, Sarge, I'm with Mom. What's up? I'm working on it right. Yeah, she just walked in. I'm working on it right now. All right. Okay, and I'm gonna have.
Just hold on to it. We don't need it here. We just need it signed.
Okay, Roger. All right, I'll call you back. Yep. Okay, and I'll send you his information. And all right, give me 1 second. I'll. Roger, I'll call you right back here in about 5 minutes.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right.
Idaho 142 today.
I'm sorry about that. That was my supervisor. But I said I cannot imagine what you're going through right now.
She's never been aggressive or anything.
Yeah.
Not like her. Like it's like they bully each other like brother and sisters, but it's never they never like fist fight or do anything like that.
So
It
this
was
is
just
completely.
He was in bed. He was downstairs trying to sleep. I don't know why she even went down there. Like what the hell was she? I don't understand any of it. All I know is I heard him screaming, like the worst scream ever, and I thought maybe he was having a nightmare, so I started to try to wake him up, and there's blood everywhere. And he said, she stabbed me, she stabbed me. I was like, no. And he started going in and out of consciousness, and so that's when they told me to put him on the floor, do chest compressions, and I couldn't find my daughter anywhere. I was screaming her name, and she ran out after she did it because she was scared. And
So right now she's safe and she's in custody with us right now. It is a really this is a very. There's no words that I can tell you that's gonna.
So weird. Why would she do that?
Those are answers we're gonna be looking for. And,
like it's just weird. They don't really get along that great, but never would have assumed she'd do something like that. That's crazy to me. Like she was like, I don't know why. It was fucking crazy. I don't know. She doesn't even curse. Like I don't know.
It's just I can.
She's not a bad kid. Like she doesn't do bad things. You know what I mean? Like she
totally
doesn't get in
out
trouble.
of
It was weird. Yeah.
What's her name? Ex-husband you're talking about, this is their father?
It's his father, yeah, Levi. He's on his way up here. Yeah.
And I called you earlier, and you can totally disregard that because now
I was talking to him, the nurse.
You're totally good. Yeah.
Okay. His number is 918. With Xander's dad and his grandma all the time. Like they look at Jamie like that's their granddaughter too. Like she doesn't get left out. Like I just don't understand why she would have so much anger towards him, especially bedtime. Like.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, I should have told him no. He asked if he could sleep downstairs, and I said yes. I wish I would have said no.
Well, there's nothing. Don't blame yourself. There's nothing that you could have done differently.
But I normally tell him no. And this night I was like, yeah, fine.
I mean, there's nothing that you could have done differently. I mean, don't blame yourself for any of this.
I didn't protect him. I didn't know she was gonna do something. No,
it's not your fault.
Supposed to know.
It's not you.
I know, but I feel like I didn't protect him. Like his home, he's supposed to feel safe.
Well, and again, like
his own sister, you know that he will never forgive her. She will never. It will never be. There will always be issues now between them. Like, what the hell is she thinking?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, she's 12 years old. At that age, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the brain. She probably wasn't.
Hello. Okay, he's here.
So I'll meet him in the waiting room.
She's gonna meet you in the waiting room. Bring you back here. Yeah, this is the waiting room with the children's hospital, the children's emergency room. Yeah, the children's side. Okay, it's the St. Francis Children's side. Yeah.
So real quick, I know that I'm probably the last person you want to talk to right now. But so what we need is a search waiver for the apartment, so we can go through, have our crime scene detectives go through and do a thorough investigation of this. So you don't have to authorize us to do this, but I mean it would really aid in our investigation of trying to figure out everything that's going on.
We know what happened. My daughter says she got a knife and stabbed him 3 times.
Well, we need to find the knife, and we need to do all that.
Can I be there? I just don't know. I don't have anyone there right now.
Well, there's nothing. It's not like, I mean, if there's any, like, we're not looking for any, like, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like drugs or anything illegal. That's not for that.
I just don't, yeah, it's fine. I was going to sign it. I just don't have anyone that can be there right now.
Well, and that's the thing, is there won't be any, like, because this is like crime scene detectives that go through, and it could even be homicide that goes through. And
I do have 2 cats there too. I don't want them to get out.
And they're not going to get out. They're,
okay, yeah.
So your name is? And you're only authorizing us to go through there.
Okay. Did she not get the knife for you guys when?
Well, she got.
Where it was?
Well, if it's inside the house.
She said it was in her room.
Okay. Well, so that's the thing. We can't just go in there.
Yeah.
So the only thing I need to get from you is your signature right here. Here's a pen.
Right here?
Yeah. And then today's date the 6th. What's your apartment? What's the? I'll give you guys.
Hi.
How are you? Go back over there and give them some time.
So I get asked this question all the time. What is the scariest book that you have in your collection, or scariest books? And so I put together a list of 5. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead doesn't even make the list. What books do make the list? Here goes. This book is from 1589. It is a book on demonology, written by none other than James I, or King James, the man who would have the Bible printed that carries his name. He wrote a book on demonology and witchcraft in 1589. Next is the most sinister book ever written on witchcraft and demonology, Malleus Maleficarum, or Hammer of the Witches. This book is responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people who were accused of witchcraft. It is a 1,000-page witch hunting guide. This was used from about 1500, printed in 1486, from about 1500 to 1750, including the Salem witch trials. Here is the first English edition of Malleus Maleficarum. Okay, next, a very small book, but it is called True Black Magic, or The Secret of Secrets, and this purports to be from a manuscript found in the Sepulchre of Solomon. The original book on occult philosophy was printed in 1533 by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, and this is a first edition of that book. All other books on occult philosophy reference this book. 500 years ago that was printed. And finally, the last item isn't really a book, although it does include a book. It includes a Bible. But this is the contents that came from Charles Manson's prison cell. Now, some of these other books give off a creepy vibe, but just wait. I mean, that's a letter of Squeaky, or a photo of Squeaky Fromm. This is a Bible given to him by one of his members, and he has little clippings from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. There are letters, and I've read these letters from his followers. You can't unread those. And you say, well, how do you know that came from his prison cell? Well, there's his hall pass, his prison pass, Inmate Manson. But the most bizarre, the craziest thing are his notes in his own hand, where he tells the story of why he is, or why he is who he was. That, again, you can't unread. And with all the scary books, nothing gives me the creeps as much as the contents of Charles Manson's prison cell.
We still got miles to go. Got miles to go.
What? What's wrong with you? It what? It took my daughter. Parker? Please let me inside. Parker!